Hello and welcome to Devil's Advocate. As Nepal goes through a difficult political transition, what is the stand of the country's Maoists on the important issues that will determine the future? That's the issue I shall explore today in a two-part interview with the country's Maoist leader, Prachanda. Mr. Prachanda, let's start with your attitude to the monarchy. Now that the interim parliament has given itself the power to abolish the monarchy if the king interferes in politics, don't you think you should withdraw your demand for the immediate abolition of the monarchy?
No, we don't feel like that. Yeah, although Parliament has already been decided that two-thirds majority of the Parliament can abolish the monarchy. In that sense, we feel that our demand has justified in more serious manner. Therefore, that should be declared from the Parliament. That is our stand.
So you want Parliament to abolish the monarchy immediately?
Yeah. We want Parliament should take initiative and monarchy should be abolished immediately.
But then what is the point of having a constituent assembly in 4 or 5 months' time? This should be decided by the assembly.
Yeah, constituent assembly is to reorganize the whole state. It is not the questions related only to the monarchy. Constituent assembly is quite necessary to restructure the whole state.
But the monarchy is an important part of the structure of Nepal. Surely this is a decision that the assembly should decide. If you don't decide it in the assembly, you are disrespecting the assembly.
No, we are not disrespecting the assembly. We have compromised with other parties that during the election, after the election, the first meeting of the Constituent Assembly will decide the fate of the monarchy.
Absolutely.
But during this 1 year period, it has been proved that until and unless the monarchy will be there, the monarchy will create disturbance. They will try their best to derail the process. Therefore, we should have to take initiative.
So the problem is you don't trust King Gyanendra.
Yeah, exactly.
And you don't trust the Crown Prince.
Not only Gyanendra, or this is not the questions of individual. Really, it is the questions of institution. This feudal institution should be abolished.
You're not going to change on that. You're not prepared to let the assembly take this important decision.
Yeah. Why Parliament has, right now, Parliament has decided that two-thirds majority can abolish the monarchy before the election.
But just because Parliament has given itself the power doesn't mean it has to exercise the power.
But because there, one provision is that if serious disturbance came from the monarchy, in our assessment, serious disturbance has already been occurred through the monarchy, by the monarchy.
All right, let me question you on that.
Yeah.
On Tuesday, your colleague Baburam Bhattarai said that he is scared that the king might engineer a coup with the help of the Nepalese army. He even said that General Katwal, the army chief, is a foster brother of the king. Is that a real fear, or is that Mr. Bhattarai's imagination?
It is open secret that Mr. Katwal has been educated and has been raised by the monarch. Therefore, he has a real feeling, the real relation with the monarch. But right now, we feel that they are trying to activate their forces, and there is a real danger from that kinds of relation.
So you're really scared that the king and General Katwal could organize a coup?
No, right now I don't feel that they will organize coup. Yeah, in some section of the leadership of the army, we heard that they are trying to do some things for the monarchy.
But you don't take this seriously.
I don't think that as a whole army will take that kinds of initiative. In the whole history of our political development, army has not took that kinds of decision. And they also know the overall political consciousness of our mass, the people.
So you trust the army and you are prepared to also trust General Katwal?
Yeah, it is not the questions of trust, but yeah, Katwal may have some sentiment with monarch, and you will imagine some sorts of that kinds of disturbance, but as a whole, I don't feel that they will take any kinds of initiative. They will be able to take that kind of
action. This is very interesting, because on this issue, you have a slightly different opinion to your deputy. Mr. Bhattarai is rather scared about this. You're not that worried.
Yeah. Yeah, we have information that they are in some section they will try, but they will not be able.
Okay.
That is my point, you know.
Although the Prime Minister has never said this officially and formally, many people believe the Prime Minister would like to retain the monarchy in a ceremonial form, perhaps like the British Queen. Do you believe that is Mr. Koirala's actual position?
Yeah, from I think 5 years back, I have a regular contact and discussion with Prime Minister Koirala. and he is not quite clear about his own position. He always vacillates about the questions of monarchy and republic.
Can I interrupt? Is he confused, or is he trying to find a clever way of keeping the monarchy? Which is it?
Yeah, previously I think that he is trying to find some artful way to abolish the monarchy, but during the latter part of the development, I feel that he is trying artfully, he is trying to to save the monarchy.
To save the monarchy.
Yeah.
So the Prime Minister wants to save the monarchy.
Yeah, always when he says ceremonial monarchy, and sometimes he says that I want to give some political space to monarch, and sometimes he says about the baby king. All these things,
Exactly.
It proves that.
On Sunday, the Prime Minister revealed that he had advised King Gyanendra and Crown Prince Paras to abdicate in favor of Prince Hridendra. If that were to happen, could the communists accept a ceremonial monarchy?
It is not the questions of the communist. Whole nation and all Nepalese people will not accept that kinds of ridiculous thing.
Not even Prince Hridendra, who's only 4 or 5 years old.
Nobody will, agree with that, that kinds of,
Let me then put a final question on this subject to you. If the Constituent Assembly, when it meets, decides to retain a ceremonial monarchy, will the Maoists accept and honor that decision?
Yeah, we do not believe that that kinds of result will come from the...
But if it comes...
If it comes, we will respect the version of the masses, and we will again teach the masses what you did is not correct, but we'll respect the decision.
You will respect the decision?
Yeah.
So you will accept a ceremonial monarchy if the Constituent Assembly agrees to keep one?
Yeah, my point is that we respect the decision, and again we will ideologically, in a peaceful manner, we will educate the mass. Whatever you did is not good.
But peacefully?
Yeah, peacefully.
There will be no armed struggle?
Yeah, exactly.
No armed struggle?
Yeah, time and again.
Okay.
I have cleared this question that we will respect the decision.
But the reason I want you to clear it again is because you're at the moment demanding immediate abolition. And I'm therefore putting it to you, if the Constituent Assembly decides to retain a ceremonial monarchy, you will respect that decision?
Yeah.
All right.
That's why we are here.
Okay.
For the election of Constituent Assembly. If we will not agree, we will not respect the decision, how can we participate in the election?
Very interesting, because at the same time, of course, you want to abolish the monarchy before the Assembly meets, but leave that aside. Let's now move on to the question of the election for the Constituent Assembly. In the 15th of this month, speaking in Kirtipur, you said that you don't even believe it's likely to happen in December. Given that the election for the Constituent Assembly has already been postponed once, are you confident it will be held this year?
Yeah, we have a serious suspicion, a serious doubt, it will held. We are for the election. As soon as possible, it should be held. But because of the experience, we think that we have a serious suspicion.
So you are seriously doubting that the election will be held this year?
Yeah, we have a serious doubt.
Let me ask you this.
Because it is not the questions of the last year, it is the questions of from 60 years.
How much of the responsibility will be the Prime Minister's?
Main responsibility should be taken by Prime Minister, because when we entered in the peace negotiation and when we entered in the peace agreement, Prime Minister time and again said that if I will not be able to hold election in June, then morally I will not be the Prime Minister. Time and again he said publicly.
So do you think that because he's failed to hold the election by June, morally he should now stand down?
No, we are not saying like that. It was the Prime Minister himself who said time and again.
But you are saying that the responsibility for delay, the failure to hold the election on time, is the Prime Minister's?
Yeah, main responsibility is to the Prime Minister.
Why has he failed? Is it because he doesn't want to hold it? Is it because he's vacillating? Is it because he's weak? What is the explanation?
My main point is that Prime Minister and his party could not take the concrete position about the monarchy and the republic. This vacillation in its political position is the main reason.
In your eyes, is the Prime Minister vacillating because he's actually trying to find a way of retaining the monarchy and therefore he keeps delaying the election?
Now we have a serious suspicion that Prime Minister wants to retain monarchy, therefore he is trying to play with the situation and
How much tension has this introduced into your relationship with the Prime Minister?
Yeah, there are so many ups and downs and a twist and turn in the relation, but I think that the relation is not so cold. We are in a warm relation. We have been in a serious discussion. Sometimes very tough and sometimes very warm.
Sher Bahadur Deuba, the leader of the Nepali Congress Democratic, says that the main obstacle to holding elections for the Constituent Assembly are the terrorist acts of the Maoists. He blames you.
It is quite wrong, and it is Sher Bahadur Deuba himself who do not want to have election of the Constituent Assembly. For the first time we entered in the peace negotiation with Deuba itself. He is the person who was quite against this election of the Constituent Assembly. He was the first person who has action.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me put this to you. Suppose the election to the Constituent Assembly, for whatever reason, doesn't happen in November, it doesn't happen in December. How serious will that be for Nepal?
It will be disaster, I think if we will not be able to hold election in November or 1st of the December, it will be disaster in this country. Whole political scenario can change in a very serious anarchy in this country.
People say that
I don't want to imagine the result. I think that disaster will happen.
If disaster will happen, can the interim government survive that disaster?
I don't think so. In that situation, another very serious mass movement should be organized. We will be with the masses.
When you say a mass movement should be organized, are you talking about a return to armed struggle?
No. Time and again, openly I have publicly said that we will be in the peaceful mass movement.
If you're going to organize a peaceful mass movement, does that mean also that you will leave the interim government?
Yeah, when we will be forced, when we will assess that we should have to go for a serious mass movement. At that time, we will abandon that means we will be out of the government. We will be in the legislature.
But out of the government?
Yeah, out of
You
the
will stay in parliament, but you will leave the government.
Yeah.
So what you're saying, and I'm repeating this, is that if there is no election for the Constituent Assembly in November or December, it will A, be a disaster for Nepal, B, you will launch a mass movement, and C, at that point, you will leave the interim government.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly, we will leave the interim government, but we will retain in the parliament, and we will handle the mass movement in a peaceful way.
Let's take a break at that point. Let's come back and talk about the Maoist party. Are you indulging in terror tactics, as Sher Bahadur Deuba says, or is he being unfair? We'll be back in a moment's time. See you after the break. Welcome back to Devil's Advocate and an interview with the Nepalese Maoist leader, Prachanda. Mr. Prachanda, let's talk about your party, the Maoists. You've agreed to surrender your arms, to put your combatants in camps, to return all seized property and discipline the Young Communist League. Your critics say that on all these issues you're cheating. Tell me, are your cadres refusing to obey your orders, or are you only too happy for your orders not to be obeyed?
No. First of all, I want to make it clear that we have not surrendered our arms. We have been agreed to integrate both the army in a new basis, new political basis.
Quite right, but let me explore that. Ian Martin, the United Nations Special Representative, says that 30,850 Maoist combatants have registered in camps, but only 2,855 arms have been handed in. That is a huge discrepancy. Are you holding back your arms?
The data is not correct.
This is the UN data.
Yeah, I think in UN data, 3,000 and some
2,855. He made this in a speech on the 12th of June. It's on the UN website. Look at the difference. 30,000 combatants, 3,000 weapons. Where are the other weapons?
It is serious questions, and time and again we try to make it clear that our comrades, our combatants were not armed. All comrades were not armed with modern weapons. They have been armed with the grenade, different kinds of bombs, and thousands of bombs are there.
Have you surrendered everything?
We have stored all the bombs, different kinds of grenades.
All the guns, all the bombs, all the grenades? You have surrendered everything? You're not hiding anything?
We have registered all the arms, different kinds of explosive.
Let me quote to you Nand Kishore Pun, the second-ranking leader of your Maoist army. He says, if we detect more arms in the future that are presently out of our memory or control, then we will inform the UN monitors. How can you not remember where your arms are? Surely, that sounds as if you're cheating.
It was, no, it is a question of the cheating, When we were in the war, we were in the rural area, we were in the jungles, and we were scattered in different part of the country, and we have not real discipline barrack and something like that.
So you
That
can't
may be
remember
missed.
where. So you can't remember where you put the arms.
That may be missed in some places.
You mean that?
No.
To
it
many
is not
people,
the
it
question.
sounds as if you're pulling their leg.
No.
All right. Let me put something else to you. Ian Martin says that instead of surrendering and registering in camps, your combatants have instead joined the Young Communist League. And in their place, boys under 18 have
to
registered.
understand the whole phenomena of Young Communist League, you should go back to the questions of paramilitary forces we have organized during the conflict.
But the point I'm asking you is
paramilitary
different.
means the militia.
Have you, in fact, moved your Maoist army combatants into the league?
There are some combatants are there who are the commander, who were the commander previously in PLA. It is open secret. We have not keep this question secret.
Okay.
We have
These combatants who have joined the Young Communist League, you're admitting it, you're accepting it yourself.
Yeah.
Are they indulging in violence? The Prime Minister has gone on record to say that the Young Communist League is like a young criminal league.
No, he was really out of mind at that time. It is a very serious charge he made. And later on, when we discussed with the Prime Minister, he said that I was very sorry for that.
He apologized to you?
Yeah.
He actually used the word sorry?
Yeah. No, not exactly, but by his explanation, he said that I was in some sorts of emotion, the background and situation at that time was not so normal. Therefore, I feel something abnormal at that time.
It's not just the Prime Minister who accuses the Young Communist League of indulging in violence, extortion, intimidation. Sher Bahadur Dweba does. Many of the members of the Seven-Party Alliance. Are you using the Young Communist League to intimidate, to threaten?
No, it is not the question. I mean, my opinion, people are exaggerating the whole situation. And
but when they exaggerate, it means there is a little truth. They're just exaggerating the truth.
There may be some incident. We are trying to minimize that kinds of incident.
You accept it?
Yeah, exactly.
Because you see, you even told former President Jimmy Carter that you would correct the mistakes of the Young Communist League. So you accept.
When we were there in the Central Committee meeting at the YCL, I myself was present there, and I said that that kinds of incident, we should have to minimize that kinds of incident, but mainly and basically what Young Communist is doing is correct, because they are cleaning roads, planting trees.
Can I put this to you? People say that Prachanda gives orders, for example, orders about returning seized land. Local Maoist leaders disregard him. Do your local cadres, do your local leaders disregard your orders?
No, it is not the case.
Are you being defied?
The returning the land is a very sensitive question, and we have initiated from the western district of Nepal, and but we should have to settle the questions of present.
But can
Can
people trust the Maoists? Can they trust Prachanda to do what he says?
Yeah, they should. They trust, and they should have to trust. And we have initiated the process. We are going ahead. But this is a very sensitive questions. We should have to settle the questions of peasants who are farming in the land.
So what you're saying is, give me time, I will surrender seized property, but give me time.
Yeah, it needs some time. It needs some.
But you will fulfill the commitment to surrender seized property. That is a promise.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a promise.
Yeah, exactly.
And you will also ensure that the Young Communist League do not indulge in violence. That's another promise.
Yeah. But you should have, when you see some provocation is there from mainly in the Tarai region, in the Madhes, when the Gaur incident happened, that provoked our youth comrades to some extent. We should have to count that incident.
But you will exercise control. You will keep telling them, don't indulge in violence. You won't encourage them.
Exactly.
My last question. When the elections to the Constituent Assembly are held, if you don't get a majority, will you accept a minority role, or will you boycott the Assembly?
No, we will respect the decision. We may be in the minority, and we will struggle ideologically, politically.
But you will accept a minority position if that is the outcome. You will accept it.
Yeah, we must have to accept.
Mr. Prachand, let's leave this interview there. In part 2, I want to talk to you about the sort of relations you want with the outside world, and in particular, India and the United States. That's tomorrow on CNBC's India Tonight at 10:30 p.m. But for now, goodbye, good night.